just find that funny. I don't believe in smartphones.
Anyway, hello, Internet. This is another Fanfiction podcast. Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9003 to be exact, with your host, SneakyDevil. And, of course, even though everyone is stuck inside their house due to the coronavirus ravaging our world, nobody shows up.
I mean, to be fair, companies are offering free games and streaming services. I'd be making use of that too. Let's be fair.
That doesn't
Like,
make me
shit,
feel better,
Square Enix is giving away the Tomb Raider remake they made back in 2016. That's free until Monday on Steam right now.
Cool. I don't like it, so...
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you liked the first game. The first game was pretty good. It was the second and third that started getting...
It was
Second
okay.
half
Zero
was the start.
replayability. Zero replayability on any of them. No replayability.
You're not. Those are good. Those are good for first-time playthroughs.
Oh, hey, Max! This is actually an excellent one for us. Alright, so this is what we're gonna do. A Metro 2033 Worm crossover. Since, you know... We,
Apparently, Jorp is playing Dark Souls 2, the inferior
fucking
Dark Souls
Jorp. I'm gonna go ping him and call him a piece of shit for not...
Metro 2033. Oh boy.
Fucking Jorp.
Yo, by the way, I was able to complete the Metro Exodus storyline because I managed to get past that one, like, progress locker there.
Yeah?
I enjoyed it, but I gotta say, the good ending, boy, they sure figured out how to really kick you in the dick with a bittersweet ending.
Oh. Okay. Well, thank you for that. I will keep that in mind as I play.
Yeah. Now I really should play through the DLC though, because that should be another like 6 hours each, I think.
I picked up State of Decay. That's a fun game.
2?
Yeah,
right?
2. Yeah. It's $30. They slashed the price permanently. No, it's not even like a sale thing. It's like its starting price is $30.
Oh wow.
So that's neat. That is neato burrito, as the kids say. Anyway, let us get on to the fic tonight, which is, as I said, a Metro 23 Worm crossover. You can always find the links in the Discord, which I have posted that link around a bit, so it should be still active. Atin has graced us with his presence, and so has Nosehair,
here too,
while licking his mic and probably talking, but we can't hear him because he's a dumbass.
Listen, he's too busy licking a dick.
You know what? Fuck off. My lone druid is like
that's what you're
useless.
doing.
So I have to do literally everything in this game.
Anyway, so this is called If It's Hostile, You Kill It. You know...
Wait! Really? I thought you gave it a fucking hug.
That's what Canada wants to do. Because remember, if you kill your...
that's what Britain wants to do.
No, literally, Justin Trudeau said, if you kill your enemies, they win.
That is... No, senor, that is not true.
The only way that works is if you're willing to let history write that person as a martyr.
Of course. Which is why then you kill all the journalists, like China does.
Come on now, they don't just kill journalists. They also kill doctors that say they handled COVID poorly.
Yeah.
And then they also kill anyone who disagrees with them.
Oh, and remember, Trump is racist for calling it the China virus.
Yep, indeed. Alright,
I just prefer calling it the Kung Flu.
In one reality...
God
no. Oh no, not another one of these stories. In one reality, she was Taylor Hebert Skidder, a parahuman in Brockton Bay. In this reality...
Oh, not this stupid horse shit.
Yeah, she is Anna. and one of the gifted in the ruins
I
of the
haven't even
bay and the
played
dark
Metro, and I hate
tunnels of the
these.
metro beneath. Worm Metro 23 Fusion Alternative Universe.
Oh, great! It's another AU.
Hi, Isling. Right, so this calls for one shot.
Oh god, you taking shots?
Hey, when is Vermont gonna get locked down?
Are you kidding me? Everyone in Vermont drinks 60 proof at minimum. We're fine up here.
I don't think that was. Oh, that was the.
Yeah, so gonna talk about fan fiction ideas now, because that's what we're supposed to do on this podcast is educate people on what makes a good idea for fan fiction, at least. Because with original fiction, of course, you have a fucking smorgasbord. You have a buffet of ideas you can use.
Also, no one
Endless.
on the show has good enough ideas to ever give people life advice.
I have lived enough to give people life advice, sir. I have been held at gunpoint 3 times.
That some would argue that is proof of poor life choices, sir.
I was going to say.
Exactly why I can give life advice so you don't do those things that I did.
Step 1, don't live in Jersey.
Yes.
Sneaky's life advice is very much a do as I say, not as I do type situation.
It is literally don't do what I do. Do what I say type situation. Or else, I mean, you can certainly do what I do and end up as a what's the word I'm thinking of? The lungs, asthmatic, and end up as an asthmatic 26-year-old with a bad hip, bad knee, bad ankle, bad back, and you creak like you're 80. Yeah, you can just do what I do then. Anyway,
Is that creaking your spine or your desk?
That's my chair. I need to get a new one.
Oh, it's just from your.
yes.
Like,
So
I have the literal office chair as a chair.
as far as fan fiction goes, fusion worlds we've talked about quite a bit. They're very testy. They're very, very hard to do because you have to line everything up in a fusion world, and often things just don't line up. They just don't. In the case of Metro 2033, you have nukes going off across the world, ruined cities, mass mutations, and I'm assuming the gifted are the people with cape powers, which confuses me a bit, to be honest, because if you had to go from living in 2010 technology level to living day to day eating dog food out of a can that probably now contains rat meat, sharing a bench.
If you're lucky, it's rat meat. Let's be
Yeah,
clear.
sharing a bench with 7 other people when it's only supposed to fit 2, and that's your daily life. And if you don't find more mystery meat to eat tomorrow, you'll die because that guy who comes around and collects it all is going to shoot you in the head. So I can't really see too many people not triggering from nukes going off and annihilating everything they know. That is a very traumatic moment for pretty much all of humanity.
Nuclear war happened. I see.
So you would have it at a naturally high level of gifted people in your fic already. especially because these powers don't rely on ammo. And thus, in states like Massachusetts, who heavily restrict firearm ownership and ammo, you would be a lot better off than a lot of people who don't have anything besides a kitchen knife. So you have that difficulty to start with. And then you have this difficulty where this is, the summary is like, oh, well, this is an alternative universe. It's Earth Bet, but it's an AU of Earth Bet. Just like, okay, yeah, cool. Even though the author's already established how alternate worlds work in this fic, it's an AU of an AU. Wonderful.
That's what we wanted.
But not only that,
An AU of
the
an
summary is terrible for telling us, because with Fusion Worlds, you really want to be descriptive in what's going on to bring people in. And telling us, oh yeah, it's just a Fusion World, Taylor's in it, guys, read my story. Well, you're going to end up exactly as this guy did. 4 reviews, 19 favorites. Across 4 chapters. It is... The summary tells us nothing. But on telling us that it's a fusion story. It's got that fucking cliche opening of, in canon verse, canon was canon. But in AU verse, canon is not canon. It's like, oh... Wow. Who would have guessed?
It's the canon. It creates all your ships to be true, just as they happen in canon.
Fire my fucking battleship. Anyway, it's 4 chapters with 3K words total, which means this chapter is going to be fucking nothing, which is another critical flaw when you do fusion fics. When you do fusion fics, you're going to need lots of words. You're going to need an overton of words. You're going to need an excessive amount of words to properly describe a fusion fic. Due to the fact that it's a fusion fic and you have to fucking describe to the audience how all this fucking shit mixes together. And if your story is, say, only 3K words long with roughly 800 words a chapter, good fucking luck describing to the audience any of the information they need to know. You can barely get a scene in with 800 words, let alone build a world. What I'm trying to say is, don't run the marathon if you can't even jog a mile. In one chain of realities, this world would be known as Earth Bet. It's still known as
In another
Earth
chain
Bet.
of realities, nobody read your shit fucking story and was better for it.
Thank you for your input
pretty
as
much.
well as your burp.
It would be the birthplace of heroes and villains. Actually, no, it wouldn't be, because Earth Alpha, Earth Gamma, and Earth Omega also all had heroes and villains, conspiracies, murders, endings, and beginnings. This is garbage prose right here. Like, heroes and villains I could sort of get, because there's a lot more emphasis on heroes and villains in Earth Bet than any of the other Earths. But conspiracies? Murderers? Oh, murderers didn't exist until Earth Bet, guys. Endings and beginnings didn't exist until Earth Bet, guys. Like, I know he's trying to be prosy here, but the problem with prose is you need to start off strong to continue strong. If you start off weak, the rest of your prose is going to be weak. It would be a home for something beyond comprehension. No, Zion was very much in the realm of comprehension.
What is this, fucking Lovecraft? There's the fucking
He
road
was
beyond
he was
comprehension,
exceedingly
everything
in the
beyond.
realm of comprehension. In another
That was
chain, another infinity, things are different. Oh,
I'm sincere.
in another infinity, guys, things are different. I'm glad he cleared that up. A quirk in geological formation. A shift in public infrastructure spending. Oh, come on. We all know public infrastructure spending is just money laundering. And a subway is built. But no, you can't build a subway on Brockton Bay because of the giant aquifer the city is built on. You literally can't dig under the city to build a subway because of the fucking aquifer. The one Leviathan summons out of the ground to fucking destroy some of Brockton Bay with.
I've kind of noticed, speaking of bays and shit, a lot of Lovecraftian, like Boston tier stuff has started becoming popular, especially with indie stuff. I don't know.
Yeah,
why.
I'm just waiting for Cthulhu to eat Boston, you know?
Oh, don't worry, the day will come.
I mean, meme magic makes so much other shit happen. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting, man. I'm ready. International tensions rise and the subway is built deeper, deeper, and deeper into the aquifer, and then they all fall and the city collapses into a giant fucking pothole?
You act like the city itself isn't a giant pothole.
I know Max is triggered right now as the civil engineer he wanted to be.
Well,
I
Boston
didn't
just
say I wanted to be one. I settled for being one.
well,
That
Boston
didn't pan
just
out.
Boston just triggers every single engineer known to man.
Okay, well, we're not talking about Boston,
I'll
so
remember
literally
that if
gargle
I
dick.
ever visit.
Military spending rises, and with it, the benefits. Like military bases sprouting like mushrooms across the country, and secret places built in the dark. Okay, again, the problem with this here is that EarthBet had its divergence right after World War II in 1962. I think it was. Yeah, 1962. With Zion showing up, and the entire Cold War, as far as I'm aware, just kind of stopped because the country suddenly became far more concerned with the people shooting lasers from their eyes than what their political ideology were. Are you sure it was the 80s? I'm pretty sure it wasn't the 80s. Worm timeline. Yeah, no, I was right, yeah. Okay, so 68, 69, Betamax, Star Wars, Chernobyl, 78, 81. Okay, yeah, 1982. Sorry, my bad. So yeah, this is post Cold War. Okay.
Why? What are we post Cold War? Sorry, I had to order my food.
The Earth bet divergence.
Ah.
Okay. So Cold War happens. And then superpowers show up, so this is basically canon still.
Garbage cannon.
Uh-huh, yep, pretty much.
Garbage day.
And follow...
Garbage day!
Oh. He raises his hands and follows the plan set in place by his counterpart, once they had known about the paranoia rampant on this world. Except humans are the least paranoid of all the living species on this planet. Being that all other species will either flee or attack you. And humans are the only ones that will try and not do that first immediately. Sometimes. So you can't really say it's paranoia based on a planet level when everything tries to eat everything else as a basic means of gaining nutrition.
Remember, it's not paranoia if someone's actually out to get you.
And pretty much any other planet that developed like ours, as in animals eating plants, plants eating animals, animals eating animals, plants eating plants, like the whole consumption thing. If consumption exists on a planet, this species would somewhat turn out like ours in terms of their reaction to seeing a new, previously unencountered thing. So, space entities traveling to our planet wouldn't be like, oh, these people are paranoid. They would be like, ah, yes, another species to experiment on, just like they were in canon. But ignoring the author's fucking dunce cap. But in order for the experiment to continue, the species must be forced to the edge of survival and trained to be unquestioning as they searched for a means to live another day. Across 2 countries, radar screens blared and missiles flew, and then everyone just shot missiles at each other. Because it's not like multiple times the alarms went off in both the US and Russia because of faulty equipment. Spoiler alert, it did.
And it's not like people who ignored those were hailed as heroes for ignoring them.
Yeah.
Cold War was weird.
Thanks, Basolis. I appreciate your patronage.
That's sarcasm. They were actually hailed as heroes because they prevented thermonuclear war.
Yeah, and it's just like, fucking... Alright, so we're just going to ignore canon, how Cold War canon ended, and just insert canon that contradicts that completely with no reasoning given beyond because I said so. So that's a great way to start an AU of a story. Oh, why did this AU happen? Because I said so?
Because, fuck it.
The world spins on, and mortally wounded, growing colder. No, the planet wouldn't be mortally wounded by us shooting missiles.
The planet is temporarily inconvenienced by us nuking ourselves.
Yeah. Changing as radiation. I also love how, like, the layman who doesn't know what radiation is like, oh man, the radiation is gonna do the things and it's gonna change how reality works. And it's like, you realize the sun, the warmth you feel from sunlight is radiation
Tasty radiation.
that we then absorb and convert into vitamin D. That's largely due to media. Well, I mean, yes, that is true, Isley, but that doesn't make them less stupid. And then it's also like, oh man, the Earth is going to be ruined because of the radiation. And it's like, okay, yeah, but 200 years, 1,000 years, it's literally nothing for the time span of the Earth. It's like blinking for us.
Listen. Even if you go by the biblical time scale, the world has been around for several thousand years. 200 is nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, the biblical time scale. The one Atin uses.
I didn't say I used the biblical time scale.
Anyway, some subway systems survive. Okay, that's also implying that Brockton Bay was nuked. It wasn't.
Brockton Bay is in no way worth nuking.
No, it's really not. Washington, D.C., nuke. Would Boston be nuked? Probably not. New York City would be nuked.
New York City wouldn't be nuked until there was nothing left.
But, thinking that Brockton Bay would be nuked and that somehow it wouldn't collapse the aquifer, and that's okay. So randomly, not only would it not collapse the aquifer, but it would also somehow be an important enough target to hit with a nuke, and also on top of that, people would somehow survive from it. In Brockton Bay. I mean, it really depends on the time scale. If you're saying back in 82, I guess. But again, man, you don't understand. Brockton Bay is not a capital. It's not a hub. A subway in Brockton Bay would be like, what would you say? 3 routes? 2 routes?
It just wouldn't have one. Like, subways don't exist in most American cities.
Like, let's go with the New York City subway.
New York, Washington. Trying to think of where else. Like, first of all, just because of how old they are, most of them don't have subways.
Yeah, I mean, New York City was overhauled many times, so it's got quite the extensive subway.
Like, and then of course there are some cities that can't support, like Chicago can't support a subway.
Like financially or like geologically?
Geologically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because Chicago, first of all, this is something most people don't realize. Chicago is literally built on itself.
Multiple times over.
Boston was an important city for sea trade. No, see, Isley, it doesn't matter how important Brockton Bay was for sea trade. Boston was infinitely more important. Boston, because the thing is, you have to remember population. And even in places like Detroit, where you've seen massive job loss and just massive degradation of living standards, they didn't lose that much population percentage-wise from their
that's
peak
because
to
a lot
now.
of people couldn't afford to move out.
Yeah, but that's my point, though, right? That's my point. So in 82, Brockton Bay's population would be a little bit less than current population of Brockton Bay, which is around 350,000 people. That is not much compared to what's the population of New York City? Population of New
several
York
million.
City. New York City is 8 million people. What's the population of Boston? Population of Boston is 700,000 people. So, and that's in 2018. 700,000 people in 2018. And Boston was a key trading hub for since the 13 colonies. Key trading hub. It doesn't matter how important Brockton Bay was. They simply do not have the people to be important, to be more important than Washington, D.C., to be more important than Boston, to be more important than New York City, to be more important than Seattle, to be more important than Atlantic City, actually, yeah. To be more important than Atlanta, to be more important than Fort Lauderdale. Like, there's so many higher importance targets than a minor important shipping hub on the East Coast. So many more important targets. And say theoretically, they fire all the nukes anyway. They fire all of them. And Brockton Bay still gets hit by one. Wouldn't be enough to justify a subway, so they all fucking die. And even then, what was it? The nukes of 82. Google, help us out here. Nuclear missiles, 82. Cold War nuclear missiles.
Back in a bit.
Cold War nukes. No, we want targets. Maybe. Let's see if it was Boston even a target.
I imagine Boston was because it was still a pretty important hub.
That's a fucking Cold War nukes yield. Let's go with that.
Try Soviet nuclear targets?
No, they haven't released those. I tried that.
I'm sorry, would you like to repeat that statement for the court, sir?
Fucking Christ. Was it that? The nuke map? I think this is it. Yeah, here we go. So we even got Boston right here. We got Boston. And let's see, let's see what we got here. Largest tested. Current U.S. arsenal. Largest bomb ever tested from the Soviets. Look, just theoretically, fucking slams on the ground, casualties, radioactive fallout. Yeah, it should be good. Yep. Alright, yep. Detonate. So say they hit Boston with the biggest bomb they ever tested. This whole fucking area yeeted. This is where Brockton is. You see what I mean? They wouldn't send another nuke to Brockton. They have already covered this area
With nuclear fallout.
And whatnot. So, but say Newport, for some reason, they really hate Newport. Or Fall River, or Providence. I don't know. What's an important state in Rhode Island? Is Rhode Island even important?
State in Rhode Island?
City.
Okay, no, look. Rhode Island doesn't. Okay, literally, Rhode Island's important city is Boston. But
Wait.
if you're asking for like the city with an airport,
I
is
thought
top.
Massachusetts had Massachusetts has Boston. You get the fuck out of here! Don't fucking
trying
pull
to see
that
how much
shit with
attention
me.
No, but for real, I would take you can take a train from Rhode Island to Boston. I've done it. Like it's only a 3 or 4 hour train ride.
Nah,
Like
I've taken a
people- I
train
think
from
he's
New
try- I think
Jersey.
he's
people
to...
make
Right.
that commute. It's legitimately the biggest city nearby, Sneaky.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably what the point he's trying to make is.
Oh yeah, fair
That
enough.
literally like nothing matters in Rhode Island, so Boston's like the only thing in Rhode Island. that
Providence
matters,
is
even
the
though it
only
isn't
city
Rhode
with
Island.
an airport.
No, let's go with Providence.
You can see it right there.
Oh.
Where's Fallout, Rhode Island?
Oh, there goes all my vodka. Yep, it's just that's why I shouldn't keep a open shot glass near my mouth. I deserve that. Just, hold on as I just casually slide all this vodka off my desk.
I'll be right back.
Remember, kids, vodka does not leave residue because it's alcohol and distilled water. Yes, Putin will send a punishment squad to me now.
Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, like that's what I'm saying. There really is no reason to nuke anything on that coast other than Boston.
Yeah, it's literally like, people from Brockton would. Honestly, that's another really confusing thing for me. Is
Well, and depending on the wind,
yeah,
Brockton might not even get much fallout.
that's true enough.
In fact, they would likely get very little because of the way the coastal winds would work.
So
They're almost
basically,
always blowing up from the bottom of the states.
Brockton Bay, more or less, you take Brockton right here, and it's more or less you replace Kingston or Plymouth. That area becomes Brockton Bay, right here, and it's a port. It's a port just like how Providence and Newport are ports, how Warwick and Fall River are ports. Yeah, they might be a little bit important, not enough to drop a nuke on them. Especially when you're already hitting like the key area of Boston. All roads lead to Boston. Like, this is actually really interesting looking at the roadmap here. Literally all roads lead to Boston.
Yeah, and like that's what I said. Boston is Rhode Island's big city. It really is. Cuz it's like Sneaky. Pull up a train map. You can check the train.
Oh, I believe you.
from,
No, I've done it before.
Yeah, from Providence to Boston is only like a 4-hour train ride. You know, especially when first of all, when you zoom out on the United States, this is something people don't tend to get. Russia and America could threaten a nuke war with each other because we don't care. We don't care.
We have so much fucking territory. Like, we are legitimately enormous compared to, well,
like,
Europe.
Listen, if someone was going to nuke America, you're trying to destroy key targets, and because here's the thing, nobody expects to destroy a country with nuclear warfare. Nukes aren't that efficient for that.
You can
What
collapse
you're doing
the
is you're
country.
destroying an economic base.
Yeah, you can collapse the country.
So here's the thing: the places that would get hit: New York, Boston, Chicago,
Detroit.
Denver, Detroit, maybe St. Louis, Vegas, because Vegas generates a shitload of money.
Hollywood for the morale.
Well, no, I mean they would. I mean, California's odd in that it has San Diego, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, which are all basically one giant urban sprawl.
Yeah.
Like I know they're set up as distinct areas, but they are nearly one gigantic massive
Though-
urban sprawl.
Zeke says they'll shoot Yellowstone and cause the mass eruption. Yes.
Yes, that's actually a thing that people are going to do.
It's such a fucking joke though. It's like, oh yeah, also Massachusetts is not good land to be digging in. It is not good land to be digging in.
I was gonna say Massachusetts doesn't have a subway system for the same reason that Chicago doesn't have a subway system. We have the L, which is an above ground train system, which fills the same function as a subway. It's just a raised set of tracks.
Oh, that's why you're wrong.
So why are we still on this?
No, Sneaky, we really don't have a subway.
No, the Boston subway is, wow, that's really basic. Holy shit.
Oh. No, Boston has a subway, it just sucks.
Yeah. It's also fucking like basically non-existent.
Like I want to point out the Boston subway barely extends outside of Boston. If you pull up the MBTA's rail map, not the subway map, the rail map,
Oh, I know,
that
I
thing's
know.
enormous.
Also, $8 billion 5-year plan to just build the Green Line. Yeah, holy shit. Boston ain't. If Boston can barely afford to build a subway, fucking Brockton Bay, which is half the size of Boston, isn't gonna be building a subway. And the reason, Max, why we're still on this shit is because the author is basing their premise of their entire story off of a bunch of completely impossible scenarios to occur. One being which that Brockton Bay is targeted with a nuclear missile during the Cold War. The second which is that Brockton Bay was able to build a subway.
Yeah. Brockton... It has no reason to have a subway.
Well, not only that, the reason why the Metro in the Metro books worked is because it was fucking Moscow, and they had an enormous subway system.
Yeah, Russia in general just has a massive, like, country-spanning railway system.
And that's why it worked. And that's why they could keep people down there. That's why you could end up with all the cool things that happened in Metro with the multiple factions and the...
How does this subway get around the fact that there's a giant aquifer directly under Brockton Bay?
We've been ranting about that for a while, and the answer is fuck you.
Glad you covered that at least, because that's the first thing of like, hang on a second, there's a giant sinkhole under this city.
Also, apparently fucking Artyom exists in Brockton Bay.
What? Why?
I don't know. Like, and this is what like the like, fucking like the Rangers for some reason exist in this.
I'm upset.
And for some reason, Daniel Hebert is a Ranger. Is leading the Rangers.
I like that we've literally renamed her to Anna.
Yeah,
that's just a stretch.
It's just straight shit. He's just trying to lift the entirety of Metro and put it into Worm, and then replace everything with Worm names. Because, fucking things that would mutate the exact same way in Moscow as they would in Brockton Bay, USA. Right, because that's how evolution works. Everything changes the exact same way.
Obviously.
Fucking, oh my god.
Actually, so for some reason they're calling them gifts.
Yeah,
right?
We already covered this.
Okay.
Yep.
You covered how the timeline for that It's kind of dumb
Yeah. Oh yes, we covered that too.
because I need to zoom way the fuck out. When
82.
yeah,
Yes, we've covered that part.
trying to think when did the nukes land in Metro?
Don't know.
2033. Because Artyom is old
And-
enough to remember the outside world.
Anyway, so it's fucking garbage. Blah blah blah. Republic. Southern stations. I love how the author is acting like not only does
Oh.
Brockton Bay have like more than 2 lines of subway, it's got enough for multiple hubs for multiple factions of people. Where it doesn't like it.
Sneaky 2013 is when nukes were exchanged in the novels. So this
Right.
being called The Gift is even dumber.
So not only that. Fucking the nukes dropped in 82 in this story. The other joke here is that Massachusetts gun laws would allow for people to just find guns and ammo everywhere.
Oh
Wait,
God, no.
how did they drop in 80?
Also, she's stick thin even though she exercises and works out. Yeah, sure, whatever. That's how that works. Yep. Oh yeah, railguns. They exist and they need no maintenance. Because
No,
it was made by a tinker
keep
called
reading.
Colin the
Keep
Blacksmith, and
reading.
his
My
amazing tinker
favorite
power
com-
lets
my
him make
favorite's coming
guns
up.
that don't need maintenance.
I'm sorry, his specific powers, he makes guns that don't need
Also,
Oh
apparently,
no. It's a makeshift but
Danila.
still
I don't know
deadly
who the fuck
railgun.
Danila is,
that's
but she's some
simple
random
enough.
character.
Also,
it's so fucking
Sneaky,
it's so
Sneaky,
fucking
I really want
stupid.
you to read the
The
bit about
Spartans,
the SMG.
Spartans are here, even though that was specifically a Moscow faction. It should. This is why I hate Fusion Worlds, because so many people just with Fusion Worlds just take the two things and mash them together, and they're like, nah, yeah, even though this is taking place in a completely different environment, like completely fucking separate country, completely fucking separate, culture. No, everything's still named the exact same. And all the factions that appear, they appear the exact same, even though this is not Soviet Russia. This is instead fucking America during the height of patriotism during the Cold War. Yeah, that's right. The communists definitely gained a foothold.
Like, if nothing else, factions would be named
In the Brockton Bay subway. Yeah, sure.
but they'd be named like they'd be
Uh-huh.
named like patriotic things. Like, you know what? I'll give the division credit for this. It was like, what's the military faction called? The True Sons. They're the True Sons of America. Was it dumb? Yeah, but did
Add
it
this
at least
to
make some
covered
sense?
fix
Yeah.
and move on. Right,
you even
now that I'm
fucking hear me?
sufficiently angry, let's
Hello?
all go find a good fic to
I'm pretty
get
sure
angrier
he's doing
about.
his-
You know what? Let's see. Fate Stay Night D
That or
times
he
D.
muted
Wait,
us.
didn't we do that already? Yeah, we already did a Fate Stay Night D times D last time around.
Sneaky.
Nah, he's just
How
talking
about
over
let's
us.
see here. A
He's just being a
Warhammer.
cunt.
A pure
Ignore him.
Warhammer
He'll
fic.
go away.
Where's Atin? Someone ping Atin. Atin,
I'm here.
can hear
Sneaky's
me,
just fucking ignoring
stop
me.
being gay.
He muted us.
I heard myself on the stream just now.
Well, fucking. Okay, hold on.
Hello?
I'm
No,
just going
no,
to
we're on the
reset
stream.
my audio drivers again.
I don't really believe him, but
Like, I'm sitting here talking, and I thought you were just being a jackass, like usual. Ah. Oh, great. Art
Oh
can
no,
hear
you
both
could hear us.
sides.
You could hear us on the stream. I could hear me shit talking you the entire time.
Yeah.
I called you a cunt
Just
and a
some
jackass.
support. Yeah, I would say some supporting points. Sneaky, you missed my favorite part of that entire thing, which was an SMG with a heat sink.
Okay. I didn't see that in the text.
Oh, it's there.
Okay. The only way I can forgive that is if it's energy based.
Nope. It's a cheap SMG.
Boo. Boo, you coward. You could have made it laser.
No, I mean I wanted to point out how annoyed I was by a SMG with a freaking heat sink, but ah, so that means it will be pure shit. What is this author
I'm gonna,
picture?
I'm gonna see if this is a thing.
Sneaky, we can hear you. Arn may just be fucking with you.
Okay, I was about to be super upset, but
Oh
Everyone-
wow, no, you can't be heard on stream.
Yeah, I am fucking
Who?
aware of that.
uh-oh. Wow, OBS is just fucked up.
No, what happened
Poor
is
Sneaky.
that when my audio drivers crash, all programs using the system link to my audio drivers get disconnected, which
That's
means
weird.
that I have
Why
to
would it do
leave.
that?
I don't even know why it's crashing in the first place.
Yeah. So I decided to just Google SMG with heatsink, and I'm just getting results for Mass Effect.
Of course you are.
It's because
It's
this
in it.
author's a fucking retard and has retard opinions. He probably thinks that Thundercats Roar is a good show.
I don't know why you need my location, but okay.
I'm
Right.
sorry, what now?
Uh, I have found a company called Mouser Electronics. Good on them for getting a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles grunt there. SMG Advanced Thermal Solutions heatsinks. What are these used for?
Please link me this.
Alright.
Wait,
Oh no,
Mouser?
this is a tech company, my dude.
So,
No, no,
This.
Max,
this-
I'm pretty sure that's one of my vendors.
Oh. Okay.
That's why I'm asking for the link.
Atin supplies the guns.
No, they're one of my vendors, Sneaky.
Atin buys the guns.
Yeah, no, this is totally one of my vendors.
Nice.
I hate their website. Luckily, they have thousands of vendors, so it's not like I'm outing. Luckily, they supply thousands of people, so I'm not outing myself for anything.
The
Did we buy
conflict.
this?
The conflict of ships in space takes second place to the conflict of personalities between self-insert captain and commissar self-insert. Ponsworth and Grigg saga, story uno. I
Max,
love
what
how
did
this
you
is a saga.
Myself.
This is a saga, story one. One chapter.
Story.
It's
one.
not. It's not even like it's a one shot. No. He announced this was going to be a saga. This was going to be the first story in the saga, and he never updated again. Like, you know, at least at least we don't announce, like, we were planning for the Dark Souls story to be a saga, and then life just hit us with the life bat. Not the one that restores your HP. The one that takes away from your sanity. And then we just never got around to it. But we also never told anyone we were going to do the saga.
I mean, you just did.
Yeah, but no one here listens to me, so it's okay. Anyway, so this is a adventure humor story. So get ready
Adventure what?
humor. So get ready
No.
to hold your stomach. Prepare your gut because you're gonna be busting it.
You know, there's only one time when it's appropriate to apply humor to Warhammer 40k, and that is if you are writing about
Rogue
the
Trader?
glorious Commissar. Yeah, I mean, actually, I was going to say, there's actually a couple Commissars where it's actually okay to write humor, but it's pretty much only those Commissars.
And Rogue Trader.
Yes, and Rogue Trader. But even most of the Commissar stuff is super serious. Like, the only one that's like, and I even hesitate to use this word, but that's like light-toned consistently is, sweet God, why can't I remember his name? He's my favorite Commissar.
Fucking,
Kane.
King, yes.
You know, you see something like, you know, don't get me wrong, you read like Yerrick. Yerrick is great. Yerrick isn't funny. Mostly because all the Yerrick books are set on Armageddon when the world's smartest orc showed up.
Yep.
I will say this though, one of my favorite stories is absolutely the one where he gets kidnapped.
Which wait, Yarrick or Kane?
Yerrick.
Okay.
You know, he gets captured by the orc. And then he finally escapes, and the orc is like, excellent. Return to Armageddon. Prepare.
I actually expected you to escape.
I expected you to escape. I planned on you escaping. I wanted you to escape, because it'll make me have a better fight. What? What?
Captain Ponsworth sipped his tea!
Oh, holy crap, Sneaky, we have someone new.
Hello, Sarah Grimm 2. Welcome to hell.
Keep welcoming people like that. They're gonna stop showing up.
Anyway.
Survey the tactical display with interest. His task force, the Stone Temple and Arrow Squadron, were at the bottom of an elongated triangle.
What kind of The Imperium doesn't name things that stupid.
What is,
like, don't
get
get me wrong, they use some stupid names, but
what does it mean, elongated triangle? Approaching.
I assume they just mean an extra long triangle, like.
But the bottom of it? They're in space, though. What exactly is the bottom of a shape in space?
No, Sneaky, I think he's referring to it as if it were a flat plane, which is how ships are sometimes arranged in space. As in, I think they've got a ship at the front, and then a stream of ships running down the left and right with a bunch of them bunched up at the bottom.
Approaching the left was a force of rebel ships of a light cruiser and dozens of escorts. And from the right was an orc raiding fleet made up of rocks and brute ram ships. His Gothic-class cruiser and all 4 attending firestorm escorts were evenly a match for either force. However, together, they could make life more than a little interesting. Already, the rebels were signaling to him, offering to make a common cause against the orcs. Okay, so at least the author did cover that part.
Yeah, I would say, at least the author is smart, and depending on how zealous this particular member of the Imperium is, it's quite possible it would occur.
And even if it was chaos, the chaos would still be like, okay, well, we want to kill the orcs first.
I still think my favorite thing is that there have sometimes been Imperial worlds that have rebelled, and then like a chaos rebellion happens at the same time, and the rebels get welcomed back into the fold because they said, "Wait a minute, there's a chaos invasion." I don't think so.
Like, look, we hate you guys, but we hate them way fucking more.
And the Imperium is like, okay, your governor was actually pretty corrupt, and you did fight chaos. So the Administratum's just gonna scribble out some pages.
We may be
Okay.
rebels,
Trouble
but
for
we're
a few
loyal
hundred
rebels.
years.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that occasionally there's just a Joker versus the Red Skull situation.
Yes.
Yes, pretty much.
Pretty
It's
much.
like,
yeah.
oh wait, you're a Nazi? Oh no, fuck
Wait,
this. I
hold
got
on a
first
second.
dibs.
You guys are chaos. Fuck this shit. Bam, bam, bam. Yes. That's exactly what happens occasionally.
It's like, wait a minute, this was a Eldar, Tyranid, or Chaos plot? I don't think so. And then, of course, sometimes it's just an orc invasion, and they're like, I still don't think so. Listen. I signed up to make a glorious future for mankind on my planet, not to serve the dark powers. And then the Imperium goes, it's just not worth our time to fight you.
I personally really enjoyed a fanfic I was reading in which a shipified Space Hulk was fighting a Imperial dreadnought, and then an Eldar ship showed up full of Tyranids, and the Imperials were like, well, they're fighting the orcs now. So, I guess we won't shoot them? It was just a moment of, okay, well, there's Eldar, Tau, Tyranids, and orcs all fighting now. I guess we're just gonna fire at whatever side's winning. Anyway, so orcs were broadcasting challenges to everyone. Yes. Order comes, silence. If everything went as planned, they would fight each other before he fought them. He had decided to let what he does next be decided by what they do next.
What? I understand what they're saying, but that was so
Bad way to do it.
poorly phrased.
So
If they tore each other apart, that was fine. If they decided to work together and fight him, he would just leave. Decision made. Decision made? He smoothed an imaginary wrinkle from his perfectly pressed uniform, drank some more tea, and continued watching the screen.
That's not how that works at all. This man would be thrown out of the Imperium in a heartbeat.
I'm just going to sit here. And then run away if they try and fight me. And then the commissar
I shall
comes
run
up
away if
behind
the
him.
enemy attempts to engage me. Commissar, Sneaky, the Commissar 200 decks away suddenly does a head spin.
No clip activated.
I heard heresy!
Counter-Strike hacks enabled. Headshot.
Sneaky. Now I can just see the world's most glorious shit post. The Commissar who was cursed by chaos to whenever someone commits heresy, he must appear to punish them if there's no one else.
Quiet. It's a Zinch plot.
Sneaky, that poor man would be teleported every 30 seconds.
Yeah, like I said, Zinch plot. That is like peak Zinch though. Like, he will spend the rest of his life doing his job, but he will never be able to live.
No, Sneaky, he will spend the rest of his life doing his job, and his job will never be complete. But why? Because he beat me in a children's card game.
Creed!
Stop flicking your cards.
I fucked over my own plans, just as planned.
Aha! I knew it! I knew I would be an asshole!
I mean, come on, we've all had that moment where we're like, where some website, you know, you're never gonna go on except maybe once in a blue moon. You're like, oh, what password should I make for this? I'm gonna make it some fucking real esoteric thing that I'm never gonna remember in the future. Fuck you, future me! Come on.
Take that, future me.
We've all had that moment. Take that, future me.
Oh, absolutely.
You're gonna be so confused when you see this. Why did I write this down? Well played, past me.
Secretly, I was 27 steps ahead of myself. Because I wrote down all
I
the
was 27 steps of myself.
Okay. That's some advanced planning right there.
I was playing 4D chess backgammon while I was also simultaneously playing checkers against myself.
Nah, you were just drunk.
That's what I said.
Great work, Lord
That's-
Atin. Now, what has your
honestly,
plan accomplished?
Those are always interesting stories, and it's like, so drunk me did this and left a note this time. Always interesting stories.
See, I don't trust Blackout Drunk Me, because Blackout Drunk Me just turns off the podcast after like 30 minutes of being asleep, and then I don't know what happens past then, but my teeth are always brushed, I always remember to take off my not pajamas, and I always get into bed just fine, and so I have to be really suspicious, because I'm like, there is no way Blackout Drunk Me managed to not fuck any of that up.
You're like looking for the broken plate or something?
No, all my plates are plastic because I kept breaking plates.
Oh my god.
I see.
Good job. I'm glad you recognize the problem, at least.
Yes, me. I am the problem.
Aha! I finally found the person who's been ruining my life!
Plates at mirror. Yes. Anyway, so really confusing. Warhammer Fic aside, blah blah blah. There's ships out there. Yep, there's ships out there. We're gonna be outnumbered. And this concerns you? Can I speak freely, sir? Granted, you are required to speak freely, actually. Yes, sir, it does concern me. Are you sure this is smart? Ah, fuck you! I'm the captain and you are the executive captain. Pay attention and learn. First things first, we have armor and guns. They don't. And so therefore, we'll be fine. Because no superior military force has ever been defeated by an inferior military force in greater numbers.
The orcs have definitely not ever formed a crazy, wild mob and overwhelmed superior defensive positions through a complete inability to care about loss of life.
Put that way, the XO suddenly felt much more secure about the situation.
You shouldn't.
But what if they unite and come after us? Ah, well, you see, it's simple, my dear Watson. Sip my tea. He actually puts that in there, by the way. It says pause, sip tea.
It just says sip, but
Unless he's sipping some Dick Max, it's the tea in his hand.
I don't judge people's pastimes.
I do. It does not serve the Emperor will to see us destroyed. Kriegsmarines would like to disagree with you.
Okay, but Sneaky, he's a ship captain,
Yes.
not a dirt sucker.
You pass the test, you get to keep your job. Sip tea! I have no use for an executive officer that is afraid to confront me when he thinks I am making mistakes. And then the commissar walked into the bridge, and Ponsworth casually swung his chair towards the commissar.
I want to point out something important that hasn't been established. Is this a visiting commissar, or is this the ship's commissar?
It looks like it was a visiting commissar, because it says the commissar had been an annoyance ever since he arrived, reassigned from a guard regiment on the ground.
Well, here's the problem. That means one of two things. Either he was assigned to the ship and he's there as a problem, or he was assigned to a new guard regiment, and we really need to know the difference.
The first
because
one.
it has a drastic amount of difference.
He was assigned to the ship.
Okay, we say because that makes a huge difference in what the commissar can and cannot do on a ship.
And the captain found it completely unacceptable. This was a different war. Yep, sure. Commissar Griggs was tall, buff, bulky, and rippling with muscle. And he was used to having his orders followed without question and shooting everyone that questions them.
Do we know if they fixed the AI in Battlefleet Gothic Armada
No.
2?
No, they did.
They didn't?
No.
Oh, that's a shame. Because I'm not going to get those games until the AI isn't the dumbest sack of hammers in existence.
No, it's always going to be the dumbest sack of hammers in existence because the player base is fucking retarded.
It's not fun unless... Like, they didn't... The thing that annoys me the most is they didn't even do basic strategy. Like, faction-oriented strategy, I mean. You know, the AI just does the same
little
thing.
vodka. I definitely had way more than.
Yeah, Sneaky.
No.
First you drank some, then you spilled some, then you drank some, then you spilled some, then you spilled some more, then you drank the rest.
Excuse you. I only spilled it once.
That you remember. The rest of us remember differently, right, Max?
Sure. Why not?
Excuse you. I remember every time I spilled vodka. That's very expensive. And Basolis isn't donating to my alcohol fund anymore. So I have to ration it. I'm not really good at rationing things. Oh boy. Oh, those words are getting harder to read. Oof. Texan vodka hits like a fucking hammer. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, so the commissar was big and commissar-like.
Useful.
And the commissar was not ship-shape. He was in fact messy and rumpled looking.
No. Literally a shootable offense for a commissar to not be presentable.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The only time that happens is if they're like a commissar who was like super high up, makes a mistake, and gets busted down. Like, this person hasn't done any
of course
homework,
of course they don't. Implying that would mean they have to spend like effort on, writing the story. They don't have time for effort. Anyway, the commissar also doesn't take showers, and Ponsworth sneered in his general direction.
What? Why is this commissar Corporal Nubby Nubs?
Ponsworth
There's some shit.
Ponsworth sniffed his tea and sipped it. The commissar would no longer be able to shirk his duties. After being briefed
Okay,
on
listen. Just another thing that's annoying me. If a ship captain finds out a commissar is shirking his duties, he can arrest him.
Yes.
Now, he can't kill him until there's been a trial.
Or another commissar shows up.
Well, yeah. Well, no. Commissar, unless it's under extraordinary circumstances, a commissar can't just shoot another commissar. It has to be convened by a trial of no less than 3 commissars.
I mean, you act like Nubby wouldn't find a way to make that trial suspended indefinitely.
But I'm not talking about Nubby. I'm just saying, why is this commissar suddenly like a joke character from an internet shitpost?
Well, you see, because isn't it hilarious? I guess, or something. I don't know, man. The author wanted to be funny, okay? Yep. Anyway.
I mean, I have nothing. This is
So,
dumb. The author's dumb. The
Yeah,
end.
yeah, he's dumb, does dumb stuff, and then Griggs is like, oh boy. So Captain Ponsworth raises his hands, and all of the security guards on the bridge turn towards Griggs and aim their guns at him. And Griggs goes, "What the fuck is this?"
Mistakes have been made.
And Ponsworth is like, good, I'm glad you did not act irrationally. We may yet resolve this issue of ours without bloodshed. You have been ignoring me. Do I have your attention now? Good. Simply put, Commissar, I paused and sipped tea! You seem to have forgotten or never knew your duties when on board a military vessel such as mine. So the commissar said nothing, but the grinding of his teeth could be heard.
What garbage scholar did this commissar supposedly graduate from? Is my question.
The Burlington County Scholem. Let's see. Anyway, so blah blah blah. You are here to ensure loyalty of Captain. Blah blah blah. You are free to seek out traders. Blah blah. However, you do not. I pause and sip tea. Have any authority to issue commands due to the daily functioning of ship or give orders to the bridge?
Yes, he does. He actually does.
Yeah, he. Yeah. What do you mean, my place? Commissar Griggs, I mean your place. You are not a naval officer. You cannot command a naval vessel. If the existing officer corps is alive and loyal, you have no naval command experience. Oh, sorry, I'm allergic
Listen,
to shit.
if someone just got to tell a commissar that they were loyal, commissars wouldn't be very powerful.
Look, Commissar, sir, I am loyal. And because I'm an officer of the Imperium, that means you can't shoot me.
Does he not realize that that's an option on the table?
I don't know.
I will be back.
I don't think so.
Do you want to tell him or should I?
The rebels and orcs have engaged each other. The rebels still think we should assault the orcs with them. Thank you, number one. Yeah. I'm gonna be loyal to a guy that calls me by a fucking number. Yeah.
This is not fucking Star Trek.
Oh wait, no. Is that? Is this a Kids Next Door reference?
Better fucking not be.
I really hope it's not.
Well, here's the thing. It's either a Kids Next Door reference or it's a Star Trek reference, The Next Generation. And I hate both of them.
Yeah. Sip tea! In the last 2 minutes, you've done 3 things. First, you attempted to issue orders with no authority on a bridge while I rest at the command crew.
Something he's totally allowed to do because he totally has the authority to do it because he's totally a commissar.
Yeah, and most commissars know to not, give contradictory orders unless, they believe the orders that were given are heretical or treasonous. Such as...
No, Sneaky, they can also countermand orders in the event of incompetence.
Well, yeah. What I'm saying though is that your average commissar isn't going to go onto the bridge of a naval ship during the middle of a battle and just start telling people to do orders different from the captain. He will, however, execute the captain and then tell him to do different orders. He's like, he was trying to be a heretic and run from the fight or betray the Imperium or some shit. He would do that, but he would just be like,
just go,
no,
the
go
captain
left,
was
no,
incompetent,
go right.
so I shot him in the mouth.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. It's not like he just walks on the bridge and is like, no, go starboard for 500 feet, just randomly out of the blue. It's like, no, it's not how do.
I mean, he could, and it would actually be pretty funny.
Yeah, he could, but most would just be like, no, I'm going to save it for the time when I have to confront the captain on his heresy. And not just, like, randomly enter onto the bridge and be like, Lamau, I'm going to style on these nibs.
Now, commissars were known to just head on to the bridge to see what's going on.
Yes.
Because that's their right, because they're allowed to know those things.
Indeed. In fact, commissars tend to know the most things on a ship or in a platoon. Because, they kind of have to know shit if they're gonna, barring the bad commissars, obviously. But the decent commissars are like, oh, I actually have to gather information on the people I am assigned to commissar. If I'm making sense here.
A bit.
Okay, good. I'm glad I'm still making sense. Because I am out of Texan vodka.
Does that mean it's time for the stream to end?
No, it means it's time for me to start working on the Japanese vodka. I'm getting fucked
Okay,
up
what's the difference between...
tonight.
Okay, what is Japanese vodka? Obviously, I understand it's vodka.
It's white. It's made with rice. It's made with
It's made with
rice.
They had to bring an anime character to life and grind it to death.
It's kind of fucked.
It's how it stays always cold, because you know it's made with ice.
No, it's made with rice.
But anyway, no, the Japanese vodka that I have is the Haku vodka that I tried previously. That's really smooth, like super fucking smooth. It's Japanese rice filtered through a charcoal filter.
Mm-hmm.
It is 80 proof.
Not enough to keep you safe from the coronavirus, but still pretty good.
No, you are correct. But if I make up for what I lack in quality, I'll make up for in quantity. Because at some point, if you drink enough 80 proof, it's gonna be 120 proof, right?
I mean,
That's how
you-
that works.
technically you will increase the blood alcohol content to a point where the coronavirus is no longer a concern, but
And then there's the Texan vodka, which is it's made with corn, I believe. Yeah, it's made with corn, and it is a lot harsher. I have likened it to paint thinner before. It's also a lot cheaper. Probably
I
due
was
to
gonna
the
say,
paint
I
thinner
still
aspect
remember
of it.
my first experience with vodka was someone opening the bottle and me going, "Who the hell opened a bottle of antiseptic?"
You aren't far off. Isley says there's no such thing as bad commissars. There are simply commissars who died heroically in the line of duty, whether or not any fighting ever took place in that area. Yes. They definitely were not lynched by the people around them. Anyway, so this guy just basically just unloads on this commissar with completely fake news and sips tea constantly, like interrupts the narrative constantly to remind the audience that he's sipping tea during
Here's the
this whole
problem.
thing.
Here's the problem. If it was thrown in as like he took another sip of his tea, or he calmly sipped his tea, or something like that, it wouldn't break the narrative flow.
Of course, it would actually add, because it would be able to describe how the character is, the disposition. That's the word I was looking for. The disposition of the character.
But when you just go sips tea, you're a smarmy cunt.
Indeed. Blah, 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 blah. You have 10 seconds to decide whether I shoot you or you bow to me.
What?
Yeah,
What?
that's how that
You want to try that
conversation-
again, friendo?
That's how that conversation goes.
Okay, if that was ever recorded in the Imperium, that man would be dead the second they made port. Alright, so we need to inspect your ship's logs to see how the mission went. It says here that you threatened a commissar?
You threatened a commissar into silence. That sounds like fucking heresy! And then the commissar, Omarwe Shimandaru you. And your head explodes. Not necessarily in that order. Anyway, never since my cadet days has anyone dared to bring me to task and to put me in place. People don't tell a commissar what his job is. Ponsworth sipped his tea! But I will admit I have never served on a ship before. Very well. I accept your challenge.
What?
What challenge?
No, he would pull out a bolt pistol and shoot the man.
What challenge? He literally said, bow to me or die, and you're like, I accept your challenge. I'm
feel
gonna
like
do
this
neither.
challenge should be something along the lines of, can you outrun my bullet?
Fuck it, this is where you pull out the Joker card and you shout, wild card, bitches! And then you shoot the captain. Because dying to take out chaos is a death worth fighting for. Yes. Normally I would have to rephrase that, but then I remembered this is the Imperium I'm talking about.
Did you die punching chaos in the teeth? Yes, sir. The Emperor's proud of you, son.
I didn't survive 5 years of trench warfare by not knowing when to stand my ground and when to give it. All of this, he gestured to around the bridge. And then back to the tea-sipping fop in the captain's chair. And especially you are not what I expected. It seems I will need time to adjust to a different battlefield. Putting things into a perspective he could
Okay, first of all,
easily understand. He decided
maybe-
to treat the ship
maybe
board
you could
culture.
get the ship's armsman to turn on a commissar, like the actual personal armsman of the captain. The commissar has a guard regiment.
Ha ha! Fuck you, bot! I blocked your link because I am a genius. Who preemptively blocked all links.
That decision certainly does seem to be, certainly does seem to come in handy quite often.
It really does, doesn't it?
Like, a lot more than we thought it would.
I mean, if I could whitelist things, that would be great. Like, whitelist fanfiction.net. That would be great. But I don't have that option right now. All I have the option is ban everything or ban specific things. And since I don't know what to ban until that specific thing shows up, I just ban everything. Depending on the commissar, the guard might not simply have not noticed when the commissar accidentally shot himself repeatedly with an armsman's standard issue weapon.
You're not wrong.
My personal favorite is when they beat the commissar to death with definitely not their own socks with rocks in them. And any socks filled with rocks around the commissar's death were actually the commissar collecting rocks. It says so in his journal here.
Commissar Knob, the Knobby Commissar's Knobby Journal for Knobs.
I def collect rocks. Me love rocks so much. The commissar simply fell up the stairs. Yeah, then he shot himself in the back of the head twice. Let's see, blah blah. Excellent sips tea! Perhaps we can now get back to the battle taking place. And then they all got back to the battle taking place.
All right, can we just end this? I've got pizza. I got hot pizza waiting.
Right, so yeah, basically, anyway, some really crap dialogue happens, and then the rebels shoot the orcs, and the orcs shoot the rebels, and then the Imperium shoots them both, and then that's it, because that's the only chapter that the author ever wrote for this saga. Cocky ass bitch is what more like it. So anyway, yeah, it's just really bad dialogue, and literally constant fuckingly, the author decides to just, for some reason, input a break in the narrative where it goes parentheses, sips tea, or not even, was it pause? Yeah. Pause, comma, sip. No punctuation, and parentheses. And it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Seriously, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, I just realized something.
Uh,
I bet, thanks to the fact that there's a quarantine going on, we'll finally get the all guardsmen party finished.
oh, maybe.
Hooray for quarantine!
We can only be so lucky. But so anyway, this story is fucking garbage, and I'm not nearly angry enough to keep going because I'm starting to feel the effects of the unknown amount of vodka I have consumed. I all I know is I've refilled this shot glass at minimum 6 times.
Okay then.
Yeah. So we're gonna actually end it early since we so often go late. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna end it with a question, and then if anyone has a question they would like to ask, I'll answer the question, and then we'll officially end it. So, has anyone got any questions of any lectures they wish to see today? You know, we've gotten questions before about what happens when you want to write about an OP character, but you still want to make him as your main character.
All right, well, I'm out
You know, stuff like that.
because we've done this one.
Yeah, well, yes, obviously we've done that one, but what I'm saying is does anyone have any questions like that?
Like that. My apologies.
You know what? I am really tempted to order pizza too.
You should before your state goes onto a lockdown and prevents you from doing it.
Well, I mean, it's
See
not
ya.
only that. It's just I don't think I can cook right now.
You should probably not cook. In fact, you turning the stove on might cause a fireball.
You should probably just go to sleep, buddy.
Look, I know.
No, he definitely needs to eat.
I know my limits. I definitely need to eat, but I 100% am in no ability to cook right now.
Oh, Isley's also gonna go and get pizza now.
All right, pizza it is. I can drink to that.
Cool, stream over.
Well, since nobody's asking any questions, I suppose so.
Cool.
All right, well then, we'll see you guys Tuesday when I am significantly more sober. Because I've just had the worst fucking day today. And I just had to drink while I was streaming. And usually those produce either extremely funny streams or middling at best streams. And I think today was a fairly poor stream, to be honest. And sort of wish that I had my webcam on, Because I'm making all these, like, hand gestures and shrugs and head shakes. And then I'm just like, wait a second. Nobody can fucking see me. Who am I shrugging at?
You certainly are something special, my friend.
I try, Max. We gotta... As I say at work, you can never let it be a dull day.
I feel like many at your work would prefer it to be a dull day.
Yes, they fucking would. Oh shit! There goes the fucking cap. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do that off stream because I'm probably gonna fucking tip my table if I do that right now. Anyway, I will see everyone on Tuesday because we start at 8 p.m. No, 7 p.m. Big brain. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You should get your friends, you should get your enemies, maybe even your family. You should all sit down and during the Corvid fiasco, you should watch us from 7 to 9. Because, you know, the more people that are in the chat and talking to me means the less fan fiction I'm reading. And the more big brain I can give you. But, since I got nothing else, without further ado, I will see you all next time. Because there is always more. And it always gets worse.